The story begins with a boy named Kangmaru, who was in a hospital, watching TV, where he saw a girl reporting the news. That girl was his girlfriend, Yuna. Maru was about to become a doctor, but was currently doing his internship. He came from a poor background, struggled a lot in life, and was still struggling. Through hard work, he had reached that stage and was finally close to becoming a doctor. After finishing his shift and returning home, he saw something troubling. He found his sister, Choco, lying on the ground. Maru quickly rushed to her and checked her body. He realized that his sister had a very high fever, and her condition was extremely serious. He was about to take her to the hospital when he received a call from Yuna. She was terrified and crying, saying something like, "Someone might be dead," and begged him to come and save her. Meru asked for her location, and she told him where she was. As he prepared to leave, his sick sister pleaded with him not to leave her alone. Meru told her that he would meet Yuna quickly and return soon to take her to the hospital. Then he reached the hotel room where Yuna was, and she had killed a man. Maru was shocked and confused, not knowing what to do. He told Yuna that she should surrender to the police because she acted in self-defense and never intended to commit a crime, and if she explained everything, she wouldn't be punished, but Yuna refused to do that. She said that she had suffered a lot since childhood and only now managed to become a reporter. Everything in her life was finally going well, and if she turned herself in, she would lose everything. Her life would go back to being full of daily struggle. She said it would be better to die, and even tried to harm herself. Maru stopped her. Since he loved her deeply and couldn't see her in pain, he took the blame on himself. He gave up his dream of becoming a doctor. Because he took the blame, Maru was sentenced to 5 years in prison. 6 years later, Maru was living in Japan. He has turned into a playboy who dates women for money. Another girl named Suzy is the director of a company called Taisan. She had also come to Japan on business and was managing everything quite well. One day, while out for a walk, she suddenly experienced severe chest pain. At that moment, Yuna arrived there. Yuna asked Suzy if she was okay, to which Suzy replied that she was fine and didn't need concern. Yuna was actually Suzy's stepmother and also had a 4-year-old son. Suzy didn't like Yuna at all because she married someone much older than herself just to improve her life, and the person was Suzy's father. Maru had come to Japan with his friend Sam. Now that their work was over, he told him it was time to go back home. They were on a flight to Korea when Maru went to the washroom. As he came out, a girl collapsed right in front of him. It was Suzy, whose health had deteriorated badly. A flight attendant rushed to help, and Maru walked away. But Suzy's condition worsened and there was no doctor on board, which caused panic among the crew. Someone on the flight commented that Suzy might die, which disturbed Maru. He came back to check on her and found her condition extremely critical. He asked who her guardian was, and just then, Yuna arrived. They both were shocked to see each other. Maru became even more stunned when he realized Yuna was Suzy's stepmother and had a 4-year-old son. He told the flight attendants that he was not a doctor but had once attended medical school, although he left in the final semester. He said if they had a problem with that, he wouldn't treat her. The attendants replied that they had no issue and requested him to help. Maru examined Suzy and discovered that her lungs were filled with fluid. He began extracting the fluid with a syringe, which caused some blood to come from her chest. Yuna feared Maru might be doing this out of anger and could hurt Suzy, so she told him to stop. She said he wasn't a doctor and could kill her. But Maru didn't stop and removed a large amount of fluid, which improved Suzy's condition slightly. After the plane landed, Suzy was rushed to the hospital. On the way home, Maru and Sam were together, and it was revealed that Sam once told Maru that Yuna had married an old man. Meru never believed it, but now, after seeing everything, he was in disbelief. He had ruined his life for Yuna, but she didn't even wait for him and went ahead to marry someone else, an elderly man. After Maru had left his sick sister, Sam was the one who took her to the hospital and looked after her while Maru was in prison. Maru became lost in thought, remembering the past. Yuna used to live in his neighborhood. Her brother was abusive, and one day, to escape him, she ran and hid at Maru's house. Maru never told anyone she was hiding there. From that day onward, the two became close friends. They studied together and eventually fell in love. Thinking of all this, Maru became very emotional. The next day, Suzy's assistant, Han, visited her in the hospital. Suzy was working and told him she had heard that the person who gave her emergency treatment on the plane wasn't even a doctor. Han confirmed that he also heard the same. Suzy asked how her life could be entrusted to someone who wasn't a doctor and wondered what would have happened if she had died because of him. Han responded that she didn't die. In fact, she was alive because of him. Suzy then said she had also heard that Yuna and that crazy doctor knew each other. She asked if Han knew anything about it. Han said he didn't. Just then, Suzy received a call and learned that Yuna had withdrawn a huge sum of money from the bank. She instructed the caller to follow Yuna and find out what she was planning to do with all that money. Actually, Yuna went to Maru's house, but Maru was not there. Sam was there, and since he already knew Yuna, he asked her why she had come. From there, the scene shifted, and Maru was seen taking Choco to the hospital for a checkup. The doctor told Maru that Choco's health condition was much better, and that if she took good care of herself, she could stay healthy for a long time. While returning home with Choco, she said she was still very sick and accused the doctor of lying. Maru replied that he could clearly see she was very sick. Choco then said she wanted to go clubbing and drink a lot. Maru told her that she wouldn't be able to do any of that for a month. That made Choco angry, and she said that meant she could neither go out, nor drink, nor attend school, and she questioned whether this was how people lived. She added that she should have died that day, and if they had been a little late, she would have died. Maru asked her why she was saying such things. Choco responded that he shouldn't try to act like a good person after so many years, and reminded him that he was so obsessed with Yuna that he had left Choco despite her being seriously ill. She said she was sick because of him, and if she died, it would be his fault. After hearing all of that, Maru felt deeply affected and became very sad. Choco also realized she had gone too far and apologized for getting so angry. Meanwhile, Yuna and Sam were talking to each other. Sam said that whenever Choco fell ill, her treatment cost a lot of money. Maru's mother had died due to a heart attack and left behind a lot of debt. When their brilliant son suddenly became a criminal, no parents could have recovered from that. Maru had even tried to sell his organs, but even that could not clear the debt. In Korea, it was very difficult to live a normal life if one had committed a crime. If Choco had not been there, Maru might have already died. He was living only for his sister and enduring great difficulties in his life. Sam said he couldn't understand why God was doing this to Maru and questioned what mistake Maru had made. Yuna asked why they hadn't left the place. Was it because of money? Sam answered that it wasn't because of money, but because of her. Maru never left that place because of her. Sam said he had told Maru many times that Yuna had moved on in life, but Maru didn't listen and waited for her every single day. After some time, Maru returned home, but Yuna had already left. Sam told him that Yuna had come a while ago and gave Maru an envelope, saying it was to repay the debt he believed she owed him. The envelope had a lot of money in it. Sam added that she had said Maru should use the money to shift to a better place and live a good life, and that he should stop thinking about her because she wasn't coming back. Later, when Yuna returned home, Suzy was waiting outside. Suzy told Yuna that she had heard the person who gave her emergency treatment on the plane wasn't a doctor, and also knew that Yuna had gone to meet that person and had given him a lot of money. She asked why. Yuna replied that she gave him the money because he had provided emergency treatment on the plane, and that was the reason Suzy was still alive. Suzy said she didn't believe that, and instead believed Yuna had planned it with the crazy doctor to do something to her on the plane and had paid him for it. Suzy misunderstood Yuna, and Yuna didn't want Suzy to know why she gave the money to Maru, so Yuna said that she was blackmailed. When Suzy was in America 7 years ago and had gotten involved in a drug scandal, that man knew about it and had threatened to leak everything to the press. Yuna reminded Suzy that if such a thing came out, her image would be ruined and she would lose everything, including her director's position. That's why Yuna said she had no choice but to do it, to protect Suzy. After saying that, Yuna left. When Suzy went to her room, a flashback was shown. A boy, who was Suzy's boyfriend, was asking her for help. He was about to be caught in a drug scandal and was pleading for help. In trying to save him, Suzy herself got trapped in the scandal. The next day, Maru went to Yuna's house but didn't go inside. He returned the money by throwing the envelope near her gate. Then Choco called him, sounding scared. She told him that police were at their house looking for him. When Maru returned home, the officers told him he was being arrested for blackmailing Suzy. But in reality, it was Yuna who had done all this. She had used Han to file a complaint against Maru. As the police were taking Maru away, Choco followed them in the rain, soaked and crying. Maru came to her and said that he hadn't done anything and would return soon, so she should go inside. But Choco refused, which made Maru angry. He told her that the doctor had said she shouldn't get wet in the rain and insisted she go inside. He warned her that if she didn't go in, he would get very angry. Choco asked who even cared about her and said that even if she died, it wouldn't matter. Maru got even angrier and shouted that fine, she could go die, crazy girl, and then walked away. Later, Yuna arrived at the police station for cross-examination. Maru couldn't believe that she had set this up and accused him of blackmail. Even there, Yuna didn't reveal the truth and told the police that Maru was blackmailing her using some information that could harm the company's reputation. Hearing all this, Maru became extremely angry at himself for ruining his life to protect Yuna. He wondered how she could do something so low and started hating her. When Yuna returned home, a servant gave her the envelope that Maru had returned. Seeing the money, she was shocked that Maru had sent it back. Then, when Yuna brought tea for Suzy, he said that Han had told her that Maru would be released soon since the police didn't have strong evidence against him, but she couldn't understand where the money that Yuna gave him had gone. Even then, Yuna didn't tell the truth and lied again, saying she was the one who hired that man to kill Suzy and gave him the money for it, but since he couldn't complete the job, he returned the money. She warned Suzy to listen carefully and declared that from now on she wouldn't attack from behind but directly. She said she would take everything Suzy had and would throw her out of this house just like her mother was thrown out. Suzy replied that at least Yuna finally told the truth and accepted her challenge. The next day Maru was released, and when he came home, he saw that Choco was not there, which made him extremely anxious. Then he found out from a neighbor that the previous day Choco was running around in the rain the entire time and became very sick, so she was in the hospital. Maru went to the hospital and, after seeing her condition, began blaming himself and getting angry for speaking harshly to her the day before. He kept feeling that Choco always got sick because of him, and this made him feel guilty. He also decided to take revenge on Yuna for everything she did to him. The next day, when Suzy reached the office, she learned that the workers had gone on strike. Because of everything happening around her, she became extremely worried about how she would fix it all. Her mood turned very sour, so she went out for bike riding, something she truly enjoyed. While she was riding, Maru suddenly appeared with his own bike, and the two began racing each other. In the middle of the race, Suzy fell off her bike and ended up hanging on the edge of a cliff. Maru rushed and saved her quickly. Suzy's bike fell into the ravine, and on that bike was a doll, her last keepsake from her mother. She wanted to go and get it, but Maru did not let her. Instead, he tied a rope around himself and went down to fetch the doll. He found the doll, but the rope broke, and Maru fell into the valley. When he regained consciousness, he found himself in the hospital, badly injured but alive. Suzy was there too. Maru asked her whether they had met before or knew each other, and if not, why she was getting angry instead of thanking him. Suzy shouted that if something had happened to him, people would have blamed her. Maru asked whether her parents taught her to say thank you in such moments, but she was doing the opposite. He said if she felt grateful, she could express it, or if she felt sorry, she could express that too. He said that though his parents were not educated, they taught him everything, and anyway, she did not ask him to do anything. He chose to do it himself, so there was no point talking about it. He also said that if she thought he would demand something in return, she need not worry because he would not. Then he told her if she had anything more to say, she could leave, because he needed to rest. Suzy kept overthinking why Maru risked his life for her and found herself constantly thinking about him. At work, she found the same doll her mother had given her placed on her desk. Her secretary came and informed her that Maru gave it when she visited him in the hospital and that he refused the gift Suzy had sent. Suzy was very impressed and went to the hospital to meet him, but he was already discharged. On the way home, Maru received a message from Choco. She wrote that she was visiting their mother and would now stay there, so he did not need to worry or do anything bad to pay her hospital bills. She thanked him for taking care of her all these years and told him to take care of himself. Maru grew very anxious after reading that. He tried calling Choco, but her phone did not connect. He got ready at home and was just about to leave to bring her back when he saw Suzy waiting outside. Suzy told him that it wasn't hard to find his address and that she came because she wanted to know if he was doing okay. Maru asked whether she was interested in him, which shocked her. He asked whether she was that easy to impress and said that maybe good-looking guys were her type. Suzy asked whether he had lost his mind. Maru warned her again that it was not her fault. He did everything of his own will, and that was why they didn't need to meet or talk again. He reminded her that he had already told her this before. Suzy replied that it might be what he thought. But she didn't feel the same way. She said he had saved her life and she owed him and wanted to repay that. Maru told her that was fine and that he was releasing her from that debt. He got in his car, but Susie also got in. When he asked her to leave, she refused and said her conversation was not over. Maru told her he was in a hurry and had to go to a different city. Susie agreed to go along and talk on the way. So he took her along to Chaco. They talked a lot on the way, and Susie kept looking at him the whole time. The day passed, and in the evening they reached the place where they saw Chaco's mother being beaten by her husband. Maru stepped in to protect her. It was revealed that Maru and Choco had the same father, but different mothers. Maru's mother passed away and Choco's mother had left her with Maru, so he had raised her. When Susie learned all this and saw the hardships Maru had gone through and how much he had done for his sister, she felt deeply moved and sad. On the way back, Chaco asked who Susie was and whether she was Maru's girlfriend. Maru replied, no, she was just someone he knew. When they returned, Maru first dropped Susie at her house. Yuna, who was standing outside, saw them together and was shocked. Susie thanked him for dropping her home. As he was about to leave, she said they should meet again. She said she had become curious about him and wanted to know more. She said they should meet tomorrow and asked what he thought about this. Maru smiled evilly at this. Susie asked whether they could meet again, and Maru replied that yes, they could. Yuna became very scared seeing this and asked Susie whether she even knew the man who dropped her off. She asked how they met. Susie replied by asking when Yuna started caring about her personal life. Yuna asked how much Susie actually knew about that man, what he did, how he lived, and said she was sure Susie knew nothing. Yuna said that man probably already knew who Susie was and approached her on purpose to take advantage of her. Susie said whatever the case may be, it didn't matter to her and walked away. Later, when Susie and Yuna arrived at the office, they saw that Maru had come to meet Susie. Susie expressed that she was happy he came and asked whether he was waiting for her. Maru replied that it was not much, just around 2 hours. At that moment, Susie's father arrived and, upon seeing Maru, asked who he was. Susie introduced him, saying that his name was Maru and that the two of them were seeing each other. Susie's father invited Maru to join them for lunch, and Maru agreed. They all began eating together. Her father remarked that Maru was the first person Susie ever introduced to him as her boyfriend. He asked what Maru's parents did. Maru responded that his parents were no longer in the world. They passed away. His father used to run a medicine shop and his mother passed away at the time of his birth. Susie's father expressed his condolences and remarked that life must have been very difficult for Maru after losing his parents. He asked how Maru continued his studies and what he was doing now. Maru told him that he attended medical college but left his studies midway and was currently working as a bartender in a bar. Hearing this, Susie's father was surprised and asked if Maru left his studies due to financial reasons. He then asked, if not money, what the reason was. Maru explained that he did not leave college on his own but was expelled. Susie's father asked why he was expelled, but Maru did not answer. So her father turned to Susie and asked whether she knew the reason for Maru's expulsion. Susie had no idea, so she was unable to respond. Her father understood that she did not know and questioned how she could introduce someone as her boyfriend without knowing anything about such an important matter. An argument broke out between Susie and her father, which caused him to leave without finishing his lunch. Susie followed him. Only Yuna and Maru were left behind. Yuna asked Maru why he was doing all this, what he wanted, and whether he was doing it to take revenge because she betrayed him. She told him that revenge would not benefit him, and advised him to be smart and simply say how much money he needed to stop everything. Maru replied that money meant nothing to him and what he wanted was revenge. He told her she made his life hell and now was living comfortably, which she didn't deserve at all. That was why he intended to drag her back to where she belonged, because that was all she deserved. At that moment, it became clear that Maru intentionally approached Susie in order to ruin Yuna's life, and that he even risked his life to impress Susie. Later, when Maru stepped outside, he saw that Susie looked very upset. He went up to her and asked whether he did something wrong. Susie replied that he didn't do anything wrong. Maru told her that there was no need to say sorry, and whatever her father said didn't offend him at all. He asked what she wanted to do now and whether she wanted to stop everything there. Susie told him that even though they hadn't known each other for a long time, she'd spent a really good time with him. She extended her hand for a handshake. Maru asked whether it was a farewell handshake, but didn't shake her hand. He said that if she was dumping him, he would rather prefer a goodbye kiss than a handshake, though he didn't think that place was suitable for it. He told her that if any such place ever came to her mind, she should call him and they would have their farewell kiss and go their separate ways. Until then, he asked her to take care of herself and said hopefully they would meet again. Susie felt even more impressed after hearing all this. The next day, she went to the office and attended a meeting where people were discussing how they needed a lot of funding for a project, but they didn't have enough funds. So her father decided to sell his resort in Japan, which was not generating much profit. Susie didn't want that to happen because the resort was built by her mother and held many memories of her. She requested her father not to sell it, but he didn't listen to her and gave the task of handling the sale to Yuna. After several days, Susie called Maru. Maru asked whether she found the place where they could share the farewell kiss and asked what she was doing. Maru said that he was standing outside his house and talking to her on the phone. Susie said that she missed him a lot. Maru asked where she was and told her he would come to meet her. Susie told him that she was in Japan at the resort her mother had built. She used to visit there with her mother and had spent a lot of time with her. That place held a lot of memories. Now her father wanted to sell it, and she was there to save it. She admitted that it was difficult, but said she would give it her all. She told him she had a lot of work and asked him to take care of himself and said they would meet soon. Then she ended the call. Susie was deeply worried and kept thinking of ways to save the resort. Eventually, she fell asleep outside on the ground near the resort. The next morning, a man came and threw her into the lake to wake her up. That man was Maru. Now Maru was focused on taking revenge against Yuna, and for that, he needed Susie. That was why he flew to Japan just to impress her. Seeing Maru in Japan surprised Susie completely. They both went to a restaurant for breakfast, and Susie asked why he came. Maru said he came because he missed her. He told her to eat properly because she had to save the resort too. Then they both started working together. They began calculating ways to arrange the required funding. Maru handled the work very well. Seeing all this, Susie's feelings for Maru grew stronger. As Susie was about to leave for the location where the resort deal was to happen, Maru stopped her and came close to kiss her on the forehead. Susie's heart started beating faster. Maru told her that if she was going there, she must come back victorious and not even consider the idea of losing. Susie left, feeling extremely motivated after the forehead kiss. At the business meeting, Susie arrived and told Yuna that she found a way to arrange the funds without selling the resort. She managed everything efficiently and succeeded in saving the resort. She called Maru to tell him that she had won and protected the resort. Maru responded that it was great news and said they should meet after 3 hours. About 3 hours later, Susie got completely ready and went to the place where she and Maru were supposed to meet. As evening approached, Maru, who had been busy with some work, completely forgot about the meeting. He rushed to the resort but didn't find Susie there. Then he went to the spot where Susie was supposed to wait for him and saw that she was there, asleep while waiting. Maru was surprised that she had waited for so long. He gently woke her up and asked her if she had really been waiting all this time and what she would have done if he hadn't come. Susie replied that she would have kept waiting because she believed he would come. Hearing this, Maru kissed her. After that, since there was a festival going on in Japan, the two of them went together to enjoy it. They had a great time, but suddenly Maru disappeared. Susie became very scared and started looking for him everywhere. She became very anxious, but finally when she saw him, she ran and hugged him tightly. Maru wanted Susie to fall in love with him and he succeeded. Susie started falling for him and he became very happy about it. For the first time in her life, Susie started feeling truly happy because she had fallen in love with Maru. When Susie returned home, her father threw her out of the house because he wanted to sell the resort, and Susie had gone against his wishes. He became furious. With nowhere to go and no friends, Susie went to Maru's house and stood outside his gate. Just then, she received a call from Han asking her to meet him. When she did, Han told her that her father had said if she could resolve the factory strike, she would be allowed back. Susie went and met the union leaders and discussed how to end the strike. She even drank with them. While Maru was returning home, Susie called him, and from her voice he sensed she was drunk. Susie told him she wanted to ask something, and then asked what he had done to her because she couldn't stop thinking about him. She said he was always on her mind, in her heart, and that she was going crazy. At that moment, Maru noticed Susie was actually sitting on the roadside talking to him. Susie said she couldn't focus on work, kept thinking about him, and missed him a lot. Maru went to her and saw that she was very drunk, so he took her home and let her rest. In the morning, Susie woke up and saw Maru beside her. Maru also woke up. Susie asked how she had reached there, and Maru told her that he brought her. Susie then asked if she had really said that she was going crazy because she liked him so much. Maru said yes. She then asked what his reply was and begged him to tell her because she couldn't remember. Maru said he had told her she was unlucky to fall for someone like him, and if she wanted to run, then she should do it now because she would not get a second chance. Susie asked if that's really what he said and what her reply had been. Maru said she hadn't replied yet. Susie asked if she could reply now and then kissed him, which meant she didn't want to run away. Maru stepped out for a while, and when he returned, he saw the house was a mess and Sam was hurt. Choco told him that Yuna had come, messed up everything, and asked about him. Meanwhile, Susie had started changing. She had begun to stay very happy because of Maru. But then she found out that Maru and Yuna had known each other for 19 years and had even been in a relationship. She was shocked. She also discovered that the man who treated her on the plane during the emergency was Maru and that Yuna had given him a large sum of money. Han told Susie that Maru had approached her on purpose and must have had some motive. 6 years ago, Maru had killed someone and spent 5 years in jail, which led to his expulsion from college. Susie was shaken. Han said they could take legal action against Maru, but Susie refused. That night, Maru and Susie sat and drank together. Susie had a fever and Maru kept asking her not to drink, taking care of her. But Susie didn't listen. She didn't say directly that she had found out the truth, but simply said that they couldn't be together anymore. She broke up with him without giving a reason. Maru figured out that she must have come to know everything. Susie successfully resolved the factory strike issue and her father called her back. Meanwhile, Yuna wanted to destroy Maru and was ready to go to any lengths, so she sent some men to beat him up badly, and he was severely injured. A few days passed. Susie, who had once been very happy with Maru, now felt low and joyless. She couldn't stay away from him. She went to his house and knocked, but no one answered. Disappointed, she was about to leave when Maru opened the door. When she saw him all bruised and battered, she was devastated. She told him that the kiss they shared in Japan was her first kiss. She had fallen in love for the first time. Because of him, she had begun to enjoy life and felt truly happy. She said now she only wished to see him daily, to tell him that she loved him, to hear him say he loved her too, to have children with him and grow old with him. She asked if that was possible. Suze was crying, a lot. Maru was deeply moved by her words. He didn't say anything but hugged her tightly to comfort her and took her inside. Since Susie had gotten drenched in the rain, Maru gave her Choco's clothes to wear and changed himself. They were both hungry, so Maru went out to get food. When he returned, Susie was asleep. Maru made the bed and tucked her in. He kept looking at her for a long time because he had started falling for her too. While she slept, he kissed her. Maru sent Choco to hang out with Sam so she wouldn't see him in that state. He went to buy a dress for Susie and came back home. Just as he was about to enter, he got a call from Yuna. She said her brother was there, breaking everything and might kill her, and begged Maru to save her. Even though Maru had started falling for Susie, forgetting one's first love wasn't easy. He was troubled because he knew Yuna's brother had abused her before, so he left the dress he had bought for Susie outside the gate and went to Yuna. When Susie woke up and didn't find Maru at home, she came out and saw the dress and a note saying they would go on a trip. She became happy thinking that they would go on a trip that day. But then she got a message from Maru saying he had urgent work and would leave for it, and they would go the next day. Susie felt a bit upset. Then she got another message from an unknown number, telling her that Maru was going to meet Yuna. Susie saw that message and became deeply shocked. Maru went to see Yuna, who was quite injured, and much of the room around her was broken and damaged. He asked where her brother was, and Yuna informed him that he was gone. Maru went into the house to get the first aid box so he could dress her wounds. Just then, Yuna's brother called Maru and asked for help, as the police had arrested him. Maru understood from this that Yuna was doing all of this intentionally and acting. In reality, Yuna had done it to lure Susie there, so that when she saw Yuna and Maru together, she would think they were still in love. The purpose was to completely break Susie's heart, so she would leave Maru, and it would also shatter his dream of taking revenge on Yuna. And that was exactly what happened. Susie arrived there and overheard Yuna speaking sweetly to Maru. Yuna was recalling how much he used to love her, how crazy he used to be for her, how he would come to her the moment she called him, and how she didn't believe anything had changed. He said that he still loved her just as much and that he had not forgotten her. Hearing all this made Suzy feel that Maru still loved Yuna, and her heart broke. She quietly turned to leave. Meanwhile, Maru told Yuna that he had understood everything, that she was pretending and putting on an act, and he asked her to stop talking nonsense. He said he no longer wanted revenge on her and that whatever she was doing or planning did not matter to him anymore, because he no longer felt anything for her, not even a little. He said he hated her very much and then walked out. Maru felt a deep sense of regret, thinking that he had dragged Suzy into his personal war. When Maru reached home, Suzy was not there. He found a photograph of the place where Suzy had wanted to go on a trip. He immediately rushed to that location and found Suzy there. Maru went to her and asked why she had come alone. Suzy replied that she needed a bit of freshness and thanked him for the dress. She noted that this was not his first time there, right? Maru told her it actually was his first time, that he had planned to come with someone else, but they never came. When Suzy asked who that person was, Maru told her it was Yuna, that he used to love her. Maru asked when she had found out about Yuna and him and why she hadn't told him. Suzy explained that she didn't want to lose him. Even after overhearing Yuna and Maru talking, she was not ready to let him go and wanted to stay with him. But Maru did not want that. Because of him, Suzy was already deeply hurt, and he didn't want her to suffer more. So he told her that he never loved her, that everything that happened between them was just a show, part of a plan. He said he still loved Yuna deeply and that she should get rid of the idea that he loved her. He said many more things that hurt Suzy and broke her heart. She left for home in a devastated state. Then she received a message from Han saying that her father had passed away. She rushed there and became very sad. Suzy grew angry at Maru because she had become so obsessed with loving him that she forgot to even think about her father. She had not spent any time with him in his final days. Thinking about all of this made her extremely angry. She turned her car and went back to Maru. After driving a bit, she saw Maru returning too. She became so angry that she started speeding her car and crashed it into Maru's, resulting in an accident. The story moved ahead 11 months. Suzy had been missing since the accident. Since then, Yuna had become the temporary director of the company and was running it. Maru used to con girls for money, but now he was scamming everyone. Since the accident, Maru had completely changed. He no longer cared whether the people he scammed were poor or troubled. He only cared about money. Choco and Sam didn't like this version of him at all, but they kept hoping that one day Maru would stop this behavior. Maru missed Suzy a lot and blamed himself for her disappearance, knowing she had suffered because of him. He hoped that she was safe and would return one day. A few days passed, and Suzy's secretary was seen bringing Suzy to Maru's house. As they arrived, the secretary remembered she had forgotten her purse in the car, so she asked Suzy to wait and went back to get it. But Suzy did not stay. She walked a little further and saw children writing on a wall. She joined them and started writing too. At that moment, Maru passed by and saw her. He was shocked to see her, and she too was stunned. She asked if he knew her and confirmed whether he was Maru. Then she took out a camera from her bag, which contained photos of her and Maru from Japan. She showed the photos to Maru and explained that she had lost her memory due to a car accident. She had even needed to relearn her own name, Suzy. All she had was that camera, and in the photos was Maru. The woman taking care of her had told her his name, and that's why she had come. She said she now understood who he was and asked if they had loved each other deeply. Hearing all this left Maru completely speechless. Just then, Suzy's secretary arrived. Maru brought both of them to his home. The secretary explained that Suzy had not only lost her memory, but also her knowledge and skills. She now struggled with reading and writing. Though she looked the same, she was no longer like before. So her secretary was hiding her from people. If others, or especially Yuna, learned about her condition, it would be impossible for her to return to the company. Suzy had found the camera with Maru's picture in it, and she wanted to meet him. The doctor had said that regular interaction with Maru could help her memory recover faster, so the secretary had brought her to him, hoping that with his help, Suzy would recover and return to the company. Maru asked why it had to be him. The secretary replied that he was the only one Suzy had loved and trusted. Maru said that it only seemed that way to her. Then he went to Suzy and told her she had come to the wrong person. He said there was nothing between them and asked who told her they loved each other. Just because they took photos together didn't mean they were lovers. He told her he couldn't help her. Suzy asked if he felt embarrassed because of her, because she couldn't remember anything, because she wasn't like she used to be. She asked if that was why he wanted to distance himself. Then she requested him to wait a little, promising that she would try her best to remember everything and that once she did, everything would go back to how it used to be. Maru explained that there was nothing between them, they only knew each other. Suzy insisted that it wasn't true. Her heart knew that they had loved each other. But Maru didn't listen to her and walked away. Maru never wanted to say all that because he still loved Suzy. However, he didn't want her to return to his life and create chaos again. That was why he said such things, to make her hate him and forget him. Suzy was deeply hurt by Maru's words and started hitting her head, wondering why she couldn't remember anything. As Suzy was leaving from there, Yuna's brother spotted her and realized that she was Suzy, who had been missing for 11 months. He started following her and found out where she was staying. For proof, he also secretly recorded her. Later, while Suzy was studying, Han came to meet her. He already knew about Suzy's condition and it was his decision to keep her hidden. Meanwhile, Maru was visiting the doctor. Due to his accident, parts of his brain were damaged and he still wasn't fully recovered. In fact, his condition was getting worse. If he didn't undergo surgery, he would die, but the chances of a successful surgery were very low. Because of that, Maru wasn't ready for surgery yet. When he came home that evening, he found a note stuck to his gate, left by Suzy. The note had Suzy's number, and she had written that he should call her and she would wait. The next day, Yuna's brother went to meet the company's manager since Yuna wasn't answering his calls. He informed the manager that Suzy was alive and told him where she was. As proof, he showed the recorded video. He told the manager that he would take Suzy far away from the company and get rid of her so that she could never return. For that, he demanded a large amount of money. The manager, being on Yuna's side and wanting her to take charge of the company, agreed to the deal. Then Yuna's brother started keeping an eye on Suzy's house. When Suzy's secretary stepped out, he went and knocked on the door. Suzy opened the door, and he told her that he was Maru's older brother, and Maru wanted to talk to her, so he had sent him to bring her. Suzy became very happy, went inside to get ready, and left with him. She was delighted that Maru had called her to meet him. A little while later, Suzy's secretary arrived at Maru's home and asked if Suzy had come there, saying she had come to take her back because Suzy had told her she was going to visit Maru. Maru said she didn't come there. Then Suzy's secretary got scared and handed him a note that Suzy had left at home. She had written that Maru wanted to meet her and had sent someone to bring her, so they shouldn't worry, and she would return soon. Seeing the note, both of them became extremely worried, wondering who had taken her if she hadn't come to Maru's house. Suzy's secretary then said they could track her location because her phone's GPS was active. Maru tracked Suzy's GPS and found out where she was and rushed to reach her. Seeing Maru there, Yuna's brother ran away. Maru asked Suzy how she could go with someone she didn't even know. Was she out of her mind? Suzy replied that the man had told her Maru had sent him. Maru said he never said that. He scolded Suzy angrily, to which Suzy asked if he disliked her that much. If she had known, she would never have come to meet him. Maru then tried to take her to the car, but she refused, saying she was wrong to force her love on someone who disliked her so much. She apologized for everything and promised not to trouble him again. Then she got into a taxi to return home. She was crying and Maru was equally hurt by what she had said. Meanwhile, Yuna was very disturbed as her brother informed her that Suzy was alive and told her current whereabouts. When Maru came home, Yuna's brother was already there. He apologized to Maru and said that he told Yuna that Suzy was alive and where she was, and that everything he did was at his sister's request. Maru grew extremely angry with Yuna, knowing very well that Yuna could go to any extent to get what she wanted. She now wanted to become the company's director, even if it meant harming Suzy. This made him very anxious, so he asked her brother for the address where Suzy was staying and set out immediately. On the way, Maru ran into Suzy's secretary and told her that Yuna had found out Suzy was alive and knew her location. On the way, they saw a man asking people questions. He was Yuna's man, so they rushed to get to Suzy. Maru reached her first. Suzy asked who he was, said she didn't know him, and questioned why he was there. Maru came to take her with him, but Suzy refused, asking who he was to take her away. She reminded him that when she had come to him, he shouted at her and said she was mentally unstable, so why was he there now? She told him to get out of her sight, went inside, and locked herself in a room. Maru asked her to open the door, but she didn't. Just then, some men sent by Yuna arrived. They told Susie's secretary that they had information that Susie was staying there and they had come to take her. Susie's secretary tried to stop them from entering, saying they were mistaken and Susie wasn't there. Susie still wasn't opening the door. Maru then said he had met a girl for the first time on a plane. She was very sick and there was no doctor on board. He used to be a medical student, so he gave her emergency treatment. He also met her once when they were both riding bikes and had a minor accident. He saved her and got injured himself. She had come to the hospital to thank him, but had yelled at him instead. She was a selfish and arrogant girl who didn't even know how to say thank you. Listening to him, Susie came outside and asked whether he was trying to say that it was her. Maru replied that they didn't have much time, he would respond in the car. Then, taking another route, Maru quickly took Susie away from there. While in the car, he told her that she was right. All the things he had said were indeed about her. Meanwhile, Yuna was in a board members meeting, talking about removing Susie from the director's position. She says that she found Susie and spoke to her. Susie herself told her that she no longer wanted to get involved in the complications of business and just wanted to live a normal life. Yuna successfully convinces the board members to remove Susie from the director's position. Meanwhile, Maru brings Susie to his home, and they both begin packing their things because they are shifting to a new place. Maru now decides that he will return everything to Susie that rightfully belongs to her. The next day, a press conference is held at the company to announce that Yuna will now be the new director. Una is on stage giving her speech when suddenly Susie arrives. Seeing her there completely shocks Yuna. Since there are many people present, Yuna doesn't know how to react. She quickly goes to Susie, asks how she is, and even hugs her, just to show the public how much she cares about her. Then Susie walks onto the stage and apologizes for being away from the company for such a long time. As everyone already knew, she met with an accident about a year ago in which she was badly injured. It took her a lot of time to recover, but now her health is much better. That was why she had decided to return to the company. She was not fully recovered yet, so she mentioned that she would need someone's help until she got better. She said Kang Maru, who was her fiancé, would be helping her until she completely recovered. Yuna was shocked to see him here. Meanwhile, everything Susie said was something she had rehearsed because Maru had trained her repeatedly before that moment. Later, while she was in her office, Maru asked her if things were difficult, to which Susie replied they were. Maru hugged her and told her she did a great job. Susie then asked him whether the woman named Yuna was really her stepmother and why she wanted to fight. Maru said it was because Yuna wanted everything that never belonged to her. Susie admitted she still wasn't completely okay and asked what would happen if Yuna found out about her health condition. Maru reassured her not to worry and said he would be the one to fight that battle. She only needed to stand behind him. They ran into Yuna, who told Susie she was just about to call her. She asked whether Susie wasn't coming home, then suggested they could go together. Maru replied that Susie would stay with him. Yuna accepted it, but insisted they should at least have dinner together. That evening, they both go for dinner. Yuna welcomed Susie with a hug and thanked her for coming. Susie asked where her father's room was, which surprised Yuna, who couldn't understand why she would ask that. Before the situation could worsen, Maru jumped in and managed the situation, saying the room was still where it always had been. Susie then walked toward the room on her own while Maru and Yuna began talking. Yuna asked why Maru came back. She reminded him that he once told her that he wouldn't care about anything she did, so she wanted to know why he was involved now. Maru then admitted he didn't even know who she was. He couldn't remember what they shared in the past, and whatever it was didn't even seem worth remembering. What occupied his mind now was driving him crazy. He couldn't eat or sleep without it. It wasn't Yuna, it was Susie. He said he came back for Susie. Her stepmother wanted to get rid of her, and he was there to protect her. Yuna asked him if he really thought she wanted to eliminate Susie. Maru said he didn't know what to think, but he only came to give Susie back everything that was rightfully hers. He asked Yuna why she couldn't just walk away and let everything go. Yuna responded that she wouldn't back off because everything there was hers. Maru didn't feel like staying for dinner and took Susie back home. Later that night, Maru worked late, which gave him a severe headache. He took medicine and felt slightly better. Meanwhile, Susie was with her secretary at the doctor's office. The doctor told her not to run away from her memories and instead to try remembering them. Susie asked what he meant. The doctor explained that it seemed like she didn't even want to remember those memories, probably because something very painful had happened in her life. The next day, Maru took Suzy on a trip and they visited many places together and had a lot of fun. They spent the whole day together, and when they returned in the evening, they were very happy. They were holding hands when a car passed by and its headlights flashed into Suzy's eyes, triggering a quick flashback of her accident. The next day Suzy was cooking, she remembered what the doctor said and tried recalling the accident. She remembered driving very fast and being upset and angry, but she couldn't remember more. Just then Maru arrived. Suzy told him that if someday he got bored of her and she still couldn't remember anything, she knew he would leave her. Maru assured her that would never happen. He knew how he felt and told her he could never get bored of her, so she should stop overthinking. Yuna didn't want Maru to stay with Suzy, so she tried to frame him in a false case. That was why Maru was being questioned at the prosecutor's office. Since there wasn't much evidence against him, he was let go. Meanwhile, Suzy wanted to learn more about herself and regain her identity, so she went back to her house. When Maru returned and didn't find Suzy at home, he got very worried. At her home, dinner was ready. Suzy and Yuna began eating, and Suzy ended up eating something she was allergic to, which surprised Yuna. Just then, Maru arrived and took Suzy back home. He told her that if she wanted to visit the home, he would come along. Suzy admitted she was afraid of remembering her memories. Maru told her not to force it if it scared her. Suzy said that although she was afraid, she wanted to bring her memories back. She wanted to know everything about Maru, how they met, how they fell in love. Hearing all that, Maru became sad because what happened with Suzy in the past wasn't good at all. The next day, Suzy was at home, trying very hard to remember the car incident. She recalled driving fast and a car coming toward her with a man inside, but she couldn't remember his face. Just then, the doorbell rang. She opened the door and saw Yuna standing outside. Suzy got nervous, unsure what to do. She called Maru and told him Yuna was outside. Maru told her not to open the door and rushed home, but Suzy didn't listen and let Yuna in. Yuna asked Suzy to come back home, but Suzy said she felt more comfortable there and wanted to stay with Maru. They talked a lot, and Yuna said some things that triggered Suzy's past memories. Overwhelmed, Suzy fainted on the spot. Yuna started trying to wake her up. Just then Maru arrived and seemed deeply shocked after seeing Suzy unconscious. So he quickly took her to the hospital. The hospital staff treated Suzy, and eventually she became stable. Meanwhile, Yuna sat at home drinking and wondered what actually happened to Suzy so suddenly. At that moment, the manager came in and informed her that he received information saying Suzy was going through a memory loss problem. On hearing this, Yuna appeared stunned. Everything started making sense to her. Why Suzy behaved so strangely lately? The manager explained that if the news turned out to be true, they would announce it in the media, which would benefit Yuna. Later, when Suzy regained consciousness, she found Maru sleeping beside her. When Maru woke up and didn't find Suzy in bed, he looked panicked and searched for her everywhere. As he stepped outside the hospital, he saw her lying asleep on a bench. He rushed to her, woke her up, and scolded her for sleeping out there. He asked her to come inside. Suzy asked him who he was. This made Maru freeze in shock, unable to understand why Suzy acted this way. Then Suzy started walking away on her own and Maru followed her. He approached her and asked why she was behaving like this. Suzy turned to him and asked why he kept following her and told him to stop. Maru told her to stop joking, that it was enough, but Suzy didn't listen and kept walking away. Maru called Suzy's secretary and informed her about Suzy's behavior. The doctor suspected that Suzy probably remembered a few memories that caused her confusion, so she forgot everything again. But he said there was no need to worry, she would recover soon. Meanwhile, Suzy kept walking on the street, not knowing where to go. Maru couldn't leave her alone, so he continued following her. As Suzy went across the road, a car almost hit her, but Maru rushed in and saved her. Suzy asked him if he knew her. Maru replied that he did. He brought her back home and showed her a photo they clicked in Japan. But Suzy didn't believe it. She told him it was all fake and started smashing things. Maru tried to calm her down, but she became more disturbed and fainted again. Maru sat through the night holding her in his arms. Yuna came to meet Suzy the next day, but Maru reminded her that he told her not to come. So why did she? Yuna replied that she was Suzy's mother and had the right to meet her, so she must be allowed in. Maru asked what exactly she told Suzy that made her faint. Yuna said she only told her about him. That wasn't new. She claimed she had no idea what could have been so shocking. Maru warned her not to trouble Suzy again, otherwise he wouldn't spare her. Yuna told him that what he felt wasn't love, it was guilt. According to her, everything he was doing came from guilt for what Suzy went through because of him. She insisted that love was what he gave to her in the past. When she loved him, she realized how important he was to her. She felt deep regret. When Maru returned as Suzy's fiancé, she never expected it. She didn't know why he came back into her life, but seeing him again made her happy. After saying this, she left. This time, everything Yuna said came from her heart. She truly regretted how she treated Maru. Then the manager called her and informed her that he confirmed Suzy really lost her memory, so she must quickly announce it in the media. Deep down, Yuna still felt something for Meru, but the greed she carried all these years didn't let her stop. She became happy, thinking that soon everything would be hers. Meanwhile, Suzy sat in her room and Maru brought juice for her since she hadn't eaten anything since the day before. But Suzy refused to drink it and threw the glass away. Maru returned with more juice and she threw it again. This went on repeatedly. Maru brought it again and again, and each time Suzy threw it away. In doing so, Suzy got a small cut on her hand. Maru started applying medicine to her hand. He told her that though she was angry, breaking things, and yelling at him, he was happy that at least she was reacting. He said he knew her heart was full of pain and he wanted her to cry her heart out and feel lighter. He said it seemed difficult for her. If it was because of him or because of the memories, she shouldn't run away from them. He asked her to let the memories come out and to stop hurting herself. He asked her to take it all out on him. He promised he would only leave her once she was fully recovered, when she stood on her own. Only then would he disappear from her life. After saying this, he went to bring more juice. When he came back, he saw Suzy crying heavily. He placed the juice on the table and quietly left. Suzy cried a lot, and it made her feel lighter emotionally. The next day, Suzy woke up and came out to see Maru preparing breakfast. She spoke to him sweetly, showing that she remembered everything from the past few months. Suzy told him she slept well and even dreamt after a long time. In her dream, Maru was there, but a different version of him. That Maru betrayed her and hurt her. He was a terrible person. Maru was stunned. He asked what she would do if the old version of him returned once her memory came back. What if he really became the man from her dream? Suzy said she would never forgive him because she left her father for him. Maru laughed after hearing that. Later, Han arrived at a restaurant because Suzy called him there. She told Han that she remembered some things. She said that he once told her in that same restaurant that Maru was in a serious relationship with someone else, and that Maru met Suzy intentionally because of that girl. She asked who that man was. Han asked if she was sure he told her that. Suzy confirmed that it was indeed him who told her Maru was cheating on her, but Han denied it. He said he never said anything like that, and didn't even hear such a thing. Suzy asked if he was telling the truth. Han said people suffering from memory loss sometimes build fake memories in their minds that aren't real. Suzy wondered if that's what happened. Maybe her memories weren't real. She thought maybe she misunderstood something. After that, she went to the office. Maru asked why she came. Suzy replied that maybe working again would help her recover faster, so she came. Now Yuna wanted to tell everyone that Suzy lost her memory, but she couldn't do that directly. So she called Suzy and told her she had to meet a man today who was involved in a major company deal. Yuna asked Suzy to handle it, hoping she would make a mistake so she could use it as an excuse to remove Suzy from the company. Meru offered to accompany Suzy, but Suzy insisted on going alone, saying she couldn't rely on him forever. Suzy went alone for the business deal, and just as Yuna had expected, she made a mistake, leading to the deal being canceled. Yuna then deliberately called Suzy to scold her, making her feel even worse. Suzy blamed herself and felt ashamed for failing in such a basic task. Maru, realizing what was happening, understood that they were falling into someone else's trap. The manager suggested that since things had already gone wrong, they should reveal Suzy's memory loss at the next board meeting. Later, Suzy, clearly upset, admitted she should have listened to him and shouldn't have gone alone. She confessed she wasn't capable of handling even basic things on her own right now and felt humiliated. Maru told her not to blame herself and reassured her that she would do better next time. When her memories returned, she would handle everything independently. Suzy, a little drunk, said she wanted to remember how much Maru loved and cared for her. Maru took her back home and told her that if she continued to behave with him the way she was, he wouldn't let her go. Hearing that, Suzy was getting emotional, and afterward, both of them were returning home. Susie was sitting in her room and was trying to recall who was involved in her accident, but she was unable to remember. Then she was searching on the internet about her accident and was finding out that the person involved was someone named Kay, but she was not getting much information. Sam was coming home and was directly going to Maru to talk. Actually, Sam was meeting Maru's doctor and was learning that there was a problem in Maru's brain, which required surgery to be fixed. If surgery was not done, then Maru could die. Sam was getting very shocked and was telling Maru to go for the surgery, otherwise he would tell both Choco and Susie about it. Maru was trying to explain to Sam that the success chances of the surgery were very low, which was why he was not doing it now. He was saying that once he would help Susie regain everything, then he would go for the surgery. Some days were passing like that. Yuna was getting busy planning her move to take over the company. To ruin her plan, Susie and Maru were announcing through the media that they were going to get married soon. Hearing this, Yuna was becoming very tense because if they got married and people came to know that Susie lost her memory, then the company would go to Maru since he would be her husband. Susie was really happy because she actually wanted to marry Maru. Susie was asking Han who the man in the accident was and where he was now. Han was not telling her the truth. He was saying the man was not seriously injured and was recovering quickly and had moved to America with his family. But Susie was still wanting to know about him, so she was requesting the hospital for the accident report. She found out that it was Maru. At that moment, she also recalled Maru's face and was getting scared. Just then, Maru was coming and was telling her that they needed to go to the board members' meeting. Susie was pretending that she wasn't recalling anything about the accident and was acting completely normal. While going for the meeting, Susie was starting to recall more things, like why Maru had approached her intentionally and how he was betraying her using the news. Then, during the board meeting, Susie was standing and was revealing to everyone that she had lost her memory. She was saying that everyone already knew how much she had done for the company, and because of her, the company never faced a loss. That was why she wanted them to give her one chance. She was promising she wouldn't disappoint anyone. If the company ever suffered because of her, she would leave her director position. Saying this, she ended the meeting. Because Susie had revealed the truth, she was having to face many negative comments from others. But Maru was with her and was supporting her. He was complimenting her, saying she did a great job. Maru was asking Susie if she wanted anything since he received his salary. Susie was telling him everything she needed. Then Susie was visiting her father's memorial and was apologizing to him for not being with him, saying she was too lost in love with someone else. Now it becomes clear that she is remembering many things now. That evening, Maru was buying everything Susie asked for and was waiting at a spot for her. After a long wait, Susie was coming and was behaving very normally, pretending like she didn't regain her memory. She was not letting Maru know that she remembered everything. When Susie's memory was coming back, she first told her secretary, who was becoming very happy, but Susie was instructing her not to tell anyone. At that point, Susie was also discovering something shocking, that her father's death was not due to illness and something must have happened to him. She again visited his memorial and was apologizing for not being there. The next day, Susie was sitting in her room, looking at an old notebook where she had written that Maru was the best man in the world. Seeing that, she became very angry. She stepped out and noticed Maru was making breakfast. Susie continued to behave as if she didn't remember anything. She hugged him from behind, saying she saw a dream again in which many people were telling her how much they loved her and would always be by her side. But Maru said nothing. She said she cared the most about him and was hoping to hear those words from him. She said she kept looking at him, but he remained silent. She just wanted to hear him say he would always stay with her. Maru was replying that they should run far away, to a place where no one knew them, where they could live together. He asked if she would come with him. Susie said yes, she would. Maru bought a wedding ring and was planning to keep it in Susie's room so she would be surprised on seeing it. In her room, he found some torn pieces of paper where it was written that Maru was the best man in the world. He realized Susie had written that but had torn it up and thrown it away. From that, Maru understood that Susie's memory had returned. When Susie was at the office, Han came and showed her the wedding invitation card and informed her that their wedding was scheduled for 3 weeks later. Susie was pretending to be happy. After he left, her secretary reminded her that now that her memory was back, she didn't need to go through with the wedding. Susie was saying she wouldn't. She called Maru and asked if he saw their invitation card. She said it still felt like a dream and asked if it was real. Maru was thinking in his mind that Susie was lying, and it meant she didn't trust him. Maru told himself she was too angry and would never forgive him. Next day, when Maru was about to leave for work, Suzy came to him and was talking about their marriage and was hugging him. She was behaving exactly how she did before, and Maru was also acting normal, not letting her know that he already understood she remembered everything. When Maru reached the office, he was completing all her work very efficiently. Suzy brought lunch for him and was about to enter his cabin when she overheard a conversation between Maru and Yuna. She did not like that. Han arrived there and she was going with him for lunch. While leaving, she also tells Han that she had regained her memory. Han becomes emotional and happy at the same time. Then the manager arrived and said he wanted to talk to her. Suzy was sitting in his office and he asked her why she wanted to marry Maru. Suzy replied that it was her personal decision. The manager said that this marriage wasn't just personal, since the company was involved too. He asked how much she knew about Maru. Suzy said if that was what he wanted to talk about, then she was leaving. The manager said that Maru had a criminal record and he had committed a murder. Suzy said she already knew. The manager asked if she knew who Maru had killed. Suzy said whether she knew that or not didn't matter. She already told everyone that she had memory loss, so she wasn't interested in knowing what happened in the past. She only wanted to become someone's wife and live a peaceful life. Then she mentioned that when her father died, the first people to see him were the manager and Yuna. She confirmed that, and the manager said that when they found him, he was already dead. Suzy said she had heard from many people that her father didn't die due to illness but was murdered. She asked the manager if he had heard that rumor. The manager was shocked and said that it was nonsense and he never heard anything like that. Suzy said that although she heard it many times, she still couldn't believe it, and then she left. Weeks passed, and finally the day of Maru and Suzy's wedding arrived. All the guests were present, and Suzy, fully dressed, was sitting and waiting, but Maru still wasn't there. Suzy, Choco, and Sam kept trying to call him, but he wasn't picking up. Meanwhile, news spread rapidly on TV and the internet that Maru was having an affair with Yuna. Reporters arrived at the wedding venue and started questioning Yuna, which made her feel extremely uncomfortable. Since staying there was no longer appropriate, the manager took her away. Because of this news, most guests started leaving. Only Chairman Parsons stayed back, waiting for Suzy. The affair story about Maru and Yuna was actually leaked by Suzy herself, so that both of them would be publicly humiliated. After some time, Maru arrived and took Suzy away to talk to her privately. Maru told Suzy that he knew her memory was back and that he remembered what kind of person he really was. Suzy asked when he found out and why he didn't say anything. Maru replied that he stayed quiet because he wanted to play along with the game as long as Suzy wanted to. Suzy asked why he didn't come to the wedding. Maru told her that he didn't like the way she tried to take revenge that day because she was hurting herself in the process. He said there were many other ways to destroy him and Yuna, and he questioned why she needed to hurt herself. Suzy emotionally admitted that when she was crazy about him, her father died, and her mind wasn't working properly. She said she couldn't think of anything good. She asked why she shouldn't hurt herself to ruin them both, and said it didn't matter to her. She said everything Maru did for her was out of guilt, which was why he took care of her and kept her in his house. She told him that if he was scared, he should run away, because if he didn't, things would become very difficult for him. She told him she already said what she wanted to. Otherwise, he could call Han and ask him to take her away. A while later, Han arrived and was about to leave with Suzy. He asked where she wanted to go, and she told him to take her anywhere, but not Maru's house. Han then took her to a hotel. As he was about to leave, Suzy asked him to stay with her that night because she didn't want to be alone. She said she wasn't mentally okay and might harm herself, so he stayed with her. Suzy asked her secretary to collect her clothes from Maru's house, and Maru compiled because Suzy told him to. Later, Yuna asked Maru if he was the one who arranged all this, and Maru said yes, it was him. Yuna asked what he gained by telling people about their affair and what he really wanted. Maru told her that this was exactly what he wanted. Hearing this, Yuna was shocked. Maru explained that he did this so that she could finally feel at peace. Yuna asked if he didn't love Suzy and if everything he did wasn't for her. Maru said that whatever he did for Suzy was because of guilt. That's why he acted good around her to help her regain her memory. Meanwhile, Suzy had locked herself in the bathroom and wasn't opening the door. Han became extremely worried and tried to open the door. Inside, Suzy sat silently, overwhelmed. She told Han that she couldn't bring herself to hate Maru, even though she should. She said she was trying very hard, but she still couldn't hate him. She said that the bastard didn't even love her. He ruined her life. The only thing he felt was guilt. He still loved Yuna and only used her as a stupid girl who lost her memory. She said she thought exposing Maru and Yuna's affair would make her feel better and help her hate him, but it didn't. Instead, she missed him even more. At that time, Maru and Yuna were sitting together, drinking wine and talking. Yuna said she almost fell into his trap and almost believed that he genuinely wanted her back. She asked if everything he just said was a lie and said she wasn't going to fall for his tricks. She claimed she still knew him better than anyone else. She said he just wanted to use her and push her away to protect Suzy. She said he wanted to be a self-sacrificing hero for Suzy. Maru asked if she was trying to buy him. Yuna asked if he would stay with her if she said yes. Maru said yes, but only if she gave up everything and stayed away from Suzy. If she did that, he would stay with her forever. Then he asked if she would actually do that. Later, Maru returned home and got emotional seeing a photo of him and Suzy. He missed her deeply. The next day, Suzy returned to her house and decided to live there. Yuna came to visit her and said she was happy to see her back. Yuna revealed that Maru had leaked the affair story to the media because he wanted her back, since she was the one who had left him. Hearing this, Suzy, who was the real one behind the leak, became confused, wondering why Maru would lie and take the blame for it. When Maru came to the office, many people stared at him and gossiped about his alleged relationship with Yuna. Han noticed all of this and didn't like it. He invited Maru for a drink, and Maru agreed. While they were drinking beer together, Han asked why he wasn't asking anything about Suzy, how she was doing, whether she cried, whether she was struggling, or whether she already forgot him. Maru said there were many things he wanted to ask, but he wouldn't, because if Han said Suzy forgot him and was doing fine, that would hurt more than anything. And with that, Maru walked away. Later, when Maru came to the office, he received a call from an unknown number, which was actually made by Suzy. Maru asked who it was, but Suzy didn't say anything. From her silence, Maru understood that it was Suzy. Both of them wanted to ask each other many things, but neither of them said anything. Suzy had called just to hear his voice and then disconnected the call. That evening, Suzy was talking to someone on the phone about business when she noticed Maru bringing Yuna home. Seeing this shocked her deeply. Actually, Yuna had drunk a lot in the office, which was why Maru came to drop her home. He made her lie down in her room and then came to meet Suzy. Maru asked her if she would stay there, how she was, whether she was eating and sleeping properly, and if she was okay. He asked many questions, to which Suzy only responded with yes. Maru asked whether she had nothing else to say besides yes. When Suzy didn't say anything, Maru left. Suzy came after him to stop him, but didn't step outside. Maru stood outside her room, hoping that she might stop him, but when she didn't, he went away. The next day, Suzy met Han and told him that she was reinvestigating her father's death. She said there were some things that were very strange, and that some people believed it was a murder. The housemaid had informed her that Yuna and the manager were present that day at the exact time. She asked Han if he thought it was just a coincidence. Hearing all of this, Han was very shocked. When Suzy left, it became known that her father felt pain in his chest and became fine after taking medicine. Yuna and the manager were present there too, but they didn't let him call for help. Actually, Yuna wanted to help him, but the manager stopped her and didn't let her do anything. Suzy's father had died because of both of them. Han had the evidence, but didn't take legal action because the manager possessed proof of a crime committed by Han's father in the past. The manager used this to blackmail Han, which is why he stayed quiet and didn't do anything. But now, after hiding the truth for so long, he was exhausted and decided to visit Maru. He told him everything about how Suzy's father died and why he didn't take legal action despite having the evidence. He handed over all the evidence to Maru and said he would request the manager to surrender. If anything happened to him during this, Maru should give all the evidence to the police. Han didn't tell Suzy about it because she was already going through a very difficult time. Then Han went to the manager and said that he had stayed quiet for too long, but not anymore. He demanded that the manager surrender, otherwise he himself would give the evidence to the police. As for his own father, he said the manager could do whatever he wanted. If his father committed a crime, then even he should be punished. Han was now going against the manager, which is why the manager arranged an accident for him. Han didn't die but went into a coma. Maru figured out that this was the manager's doing and went to confront him. He told him that he knew about the accident and that Han had told him everything about Suzy's father's death. He said he had all the evidence now and warned him not to mistake him for someone who was scared. He added that he would soon hand over the evidence to the police and left. The next day, Maru met Yuna and lovingly tried to explain that she should surrender herself, but she didn't listen. That evening, when Sam came home, he saw Maru unconscious on the floor and immediately took him to the hospital. The doctors treated him, and his condition improved slightly. The doctors informed him that his brain condition wasn't stable and he would need surgery the next day. When Chaco heard this, she broke down. Chaco and Sam insisted, so Maru agreed to the surgery. When Susie found out that Maru was very sick, she became extremely worried and came to the hospital to see him. She met Sam there, who informed her that during their accident, Maru's brain was damaged. Even if he went through surgery, the chances of survival were very slim. He also told her that he had tried to convince Maru many times to get the surgery done, but Maru refused because he wanted to return Suezi's position to her because he loved her deeply. Susie wanted to go inside and meet Maru but didn't have the courage to face him, so she left and started walking on the streets. She was crying because she blamed herself for Maru's condition. When Maru found out from Sam that Susie had come to meet him but went back without seeing him, he rushed outside the hospital and searched for her everywhere. He finally found her and hugged her. He told her not to worry, that he would be fine, and that he had a lot to say, but would say it after the surgery. He asked her not to be anxious and go home. They would meet the next day. Susie replied that they would meet tomorrow and she too had many things to say, so he should take care of himself. Susie kissed him and left in a taxi. Maru had already given all the evidence to the police, which resulted in the manager and Yuna getting arrested and sentenced to 7 years in prison. From there, the story jumped 7 years ahead. Now, Maru's surgery was successful, but because of a complication, he lost his memory permanently. He moved far away to the mountains where no one knew him. Susie followed him and became his neighbor. She acted like she liked and loved him. One day, Maru realized this and began to like her too. Eventually, he proposed to her, and Susie was very happy. From there, a new chapter of their lives began. Both of them were very happy, and the drama ended there.